Let's talk about this absolutely wild story out of the United States today about actor Jussie Smollett. Now, this is the young actor best known for his role on the TV show Empire, very popular. Also a very politically outspoken guy. He's been very critical of U.S. President Donald Trump, for example, and that got him a lot of attention, but nothing compares to the story he told on January 29th this year. That's the day Jussie Smollett told police that he was the victim of an outrageous hate crime. He told police he was attacked on the streets of Chicago by two men wearing masks who yelled racist and homophobic slurs at him, poured bleach on him, and put a noose around his neck. Absolutely shocking. Let's go back just a few days here. This is less than a week ago with Jussie Smollett talking about the attack.
I don't know. Let's just hope that they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not go there yet. I was talking to a friend and I said, I just want them to find them. And she said, sweetie, they're not gonna find them. That just made me so angry because, so I'm just gonna be left here with this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just gonna be left here with like, so they get to go free and go about their life and possibly attack someone else, and I'm here to left with the aftermath of this bull. That's not cool to me. That's not okay. So I understand how difficult it will be to find them, but I still want to believe with everything that has happened that there's something called justice. Because if I stop believing that, then what's it all for?
Okay, as Jussie Smollett, the actor, speaking on February 15th. Very shocking story today. It gets even more shocking as Chicago police say he made the whole thing up. He paid two people $3,500 to do this. They say he did it to gain attention, notoriety, hopefully make more money as an actor. Here's Eddie Johnson. He's the superintendent of the Chicago Police Department.
First, Smollett attempted to gain attention by sending a false letter that relied on racial, homophobic, and political language. When that didn't work, Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process. And why? This stunt was orchestrated by Smollett because he was dissatisfied with his salary. So he concocted a story about being attacked.
All right, this is a shocking and disturbing story for sure. Let's talk about it now with Chrysta Castaneda. She is an attorney and a crisis communications expert, very experienced trial lawyer. She's based in Dallas, Texas. I'm very pleased she could spend some time with us. Hi, Chrysta.
Hi.
Chrysta, thanks a lot for coming on. You've been you commented on a lot of these high-profile cases over the years. When you heard this one first, I mean, this was such a shocking story from Jussie Smollett. What went through your mind? Because I think some people are thinking now, you know, when we first heard this, it sounded almost like this really happened. What did you think when you first heard it?
Well, I guess I didn't have an opinion when I first heard it about the truth of the matter asserted. But, man, at this point, has he wrecked his career and his future? It's just incredible.
Right. You specialize in crisis communications. If he was and you're also a lawyer, what do you think about the police, the way the police handled this case? I mean, they cracked this case wide open. It looks like they got him dead to rights, and he made the whole thing up.
Well, it didn't look like it was all that hard to find out the truth once they tracked down the suspects that Jussie reported. So a couple of interviews and piecing together a couple of other facts led them to the conclusion that he had made up the story. Now, he has not yet pled guilty to these allegations, and they charged him with a felony. So we may still not know the true story. And I think it's always important when you hear the news, especially when it's breaking news, to just give a pause and wait to see what comes out next before you form any conclusions. People make up their mind very quickly about these things, and the news moves faster than reality sometimes.
Okay, I think that's very wise for you to say that. The police department down in Chicago, though, they certainly seem to have got their minds made up about what happened. Let's listen to another clip here of Eddie Johnson. He's the superintendent of police there.
I'm also concerned about what this means moving forward for hate crimes. Now, of course, the Chicago Police Department will continue to investigate all reports of these types of incidents with the same amount of vigor that we did with this one. But my concern is that hate crimes will now publicly be met with a level of skepticism that previously didn't happen. That said, Smollett was treated as a victim throughout this investigation until we received evidence that led detectives in another direction.
Okay, I think he raises a really good point there about when other people come forward with hate crimes. I mean, this kind of undercuts everyone's credibility. I mean, someone might turn around and say, oh, wait a minute, is this one true? Is this one real? Or is this another thing, another hoax? Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, and obviously anytime anyone creates a false narrative like this, it makes it harder for everybody else who has a true incident like this or the Me Too movement. You know, we've been dealing with this in all kinds of contexts for decades. You know, one false report casts everybody else in a negative light, and it's not fair to the people who are actually victimized.
Speaking to lawyer Chrysta Castaneda. Chrysta, you advise people in crisis situations. That's certainly the case with this actor in the TV show he was a star on. If you were advising any of them, like the TV network, Fox Network is the one that they broadcast this show, Empire, what would be your advice to them if you were advising them?
You know, right now they're taking the position, and I think it's the exact right one. Fox is saying we're not going to comment on this until we have figured out exactly what our position is. I mean, they're just coming out with that. They're stating we're evaluating our options, and that's probably the right thing to do, given that, again, he's made a report. The police says it's a false report. He hasn't pled to it, and there's such strong feelings on both sides of this story right now that it's probably best to sit and wait and see how it plays out just a little bit.
How is this likely to play out in your mind? What would be the next steps typically in a case like this?
Well, if there's solid evidence that he did in fact make a false report, I think he would be most likely to see some kind of plea agreement where he agrees to plead guilty in exchange for something other than going to jail for 1 to 4 years, which is what the reported sentencing guidelines are.
I wonder if this may turn out to be a case where he says that there may be some emotional or mental health issues, because it just seems like such an absolutely wild story to concoct that would certainly, on the surface of it, it would probably fall apart very quickly with any kind of scrutiny of it. I mean, you just wonder what was going through his mind if he thought he could get away with something like this.
Who knows? You know, people do some inadvisable things all the time, and they say he thought that he could bolster his career status with these reports, and that's the evidence that we have so far. But what was actually going through his mind, you know, we really don't have any idea. He hasn't said.
Chrysta, thanks for your time today.
Yes, happy to do it.